Hey everybody, Omri here, and I'm here today to talk to you about how yoga changes your life. There are many reasons people take yoga. I remember that when I was managing the studio before I was a teacher, I would always look at the teachers. I had a lot of admiration towards what they were doing. I really loved how they made me feel during class. I really loved how every teacher had a different personality. Some I connected with more than others. I wanted to change my life by helping other people change their life. And I think that was one of the biggest decisions I made as a yoga teacher, to become a yoga teacher, was that the jobs that I did before that didn't really feel to me like they had the sort of impact that I wanted to have in a job. So that was a big consideration for me. I wanted to make an impact. Lucky for me, I actually just lived around the corner from the studio, which made it very easy because if anything happened, I could just jump in last second and help with whatever's happening. So working at the studio and becoming a yoga teacher became a big part of my life. And it helped me put together things at a time where I felt very confused and I didn't necessarily know where I was going with my life. And I feel like we're going through the same thing right now as we're in November, almost December, in this pandemic, and now they're already talking about the vaccine. We can see an event horizon for emerging out of this weird world that we're living in right now. And in the next few months, things are going to slowly start rolling back to normal if everything goes okay, and the world will kind of be how it was before, except that it won't. There's going to be a lot of things that you have figured out about yourself while you were in quarantine, whether you were happy with what you were doing, where you were living, who you were with, where your life was going. And I think that as we emerge out of that, we're going to see more people making these choices that are more conducive to who they want to be. One of the reasons yoga is so helpful in figuring out what you want to do next is because it's an environment that's built to nurture that kind of growth. It's just an environment that's built to nurture growth in general. You come to class and you have a conversation with the teacher. It's not a verbal conversation per se, it's a physical conversation, and it's not one-sided, it's a dialogue. The teacher asks you to do some things, some movements, but the teacher is also holding space. And I thought it was really such a beautiful way of putting it. They're creating a space for you to be comfortable, to let go of everything else and express yourself creatively, mentally and physically. And it's a place where you can explore possibilities. The beginning of the yoga journey requires a lot of humility because usually when people step into a yoga room, they're not that great at it. The point is not to be great at it, at least not initially. It's about the struggle. So it's a controlled environment in which you have a guide that keeps encouraging you and building up your confidence and showing you how to take the right path and is dedicating time and energy into helping you transform. So when people step into the yoga room, the first thing that you see is how people deal with failure, really, because the first class is not pretty, but it's what you make of it. If you go home and you say, oh, I suck at this thing, I don't think it's for me, then you're really missing out on a big opportunity to look at it beyond the physical movement. Even the greatest at any sports, they had their first game, their first match. They went on the field, on the court, and they did okay. I guarantee you, even world champions had games or experiences that were less than stellar. So it's really about overcoming the fear, overcoming the lack of confidence, and that can be very difficult. For that, you need the right teacher. You need the right guidance. And from my experience, there is no one teacher that is good for everybody. But lucky for you, there are so many teachers today that offer the things that you might connect with, the kind of verbiage, the kind of dialogue, we call it. But there's other things in the room that are not as easy to deal with. You have to deal with failure. You have to deal with physical pain. You have to deal with the fact that everyone around you seems so confident and know what they're doing, and you're just struggling to lift a leg up or to kick a leg forward. So there are a few barriers to entry, but they all have to do with how much you want this. Do you really want to become a great yogi? And I'll have a whole other video about what it means to be a great yogi. There's a lot of definitions to that, and it really depends. Do you want to get strong physically? Do you want to get into the mental side of yoga? Do you want to study Sanskrit? Do you want to study about the tradition and the history? Some people take the whole thing. The whole thing, obviously, is a lot of material. It's a lifetime of study. And some people just want to have one little sliver of the yoga world. Some people just want to become really strong and flexible. Some people want to find a community of like-minded people to connect with. But whatever your reason is, just know that your reasoning for taking yoga is likely to transform as you take this journey because of the nature of the journey. If you choose to take on yoga purely for the physical aspect of it, it is a wonderful way to become flexible and strong. It doesn't come easy. It's not all of a sudden. It builds up. And it's a very interesting journey. I encourage my students to focus on their strength at the beginning. I feel like when students can have more victories, small victories at the beginning, and then slowly notice how other things are improving, I think it's a better path for improvement than focusing on what's not working at the beginning. That's going to be a little discouraging. Some people come to yoga to try to heal from injuries or to heal from injuries. Their doctor told them, oh, you're doing PT, it would be really great if you did yoga. People with injuries is a different kind of practice at the beginning. It's a little slower, there's pain involved, and there's also an added layer of frustration over looking and seeing that everybody else is just doing these things so easily. Why are you in so much pain? So there's a whole other aspect that the teacher has to be aware of when they have students with injuries in class. It's very different than someone who has absolutely no pain and feel great physically. Some people come to yoga, like I did at the beginning, to find a community. I was kind of floating around. I didn't really have a big circle of people around me or friends or anything that I wanted to belong to. I was a loner in a way, and I was very happy being one because it felt that I was living my life according to my rules, and I wasn't very social at that time. But now, reflecting back, I can see that what I was actually missing was a community of like-minded people. It felt that I wasn't really connecting with anyone in other professional settings. But when I started taking yoga, it was easier for me to talk to people. It was easier for me to connect, to get to know them. And I don't think I try to make a conscious effort at the beginning. I think one of the greatest things about yoga is when you show up for the first period, you're anonymous. No one knows you. You don't know anybody else. You don't have to worry what they think about you, what you think about them. And it gives you time alone in the room and in the space with the group of people, with the community, where you're kind of in it, but you're not necessarily that involved. And it's a comfortable position to be in. This could be a really great position for introverts, for example, where you're kind of in the community, but you don't have to be involved or talk to anybody or do anything. And I know a lot of students just come in, take class, and leave. They don't really mingle with anybody else. Other people do come to class and start getting involved in some way with becoming friends with other students, helping with the studio. So there's an opportunity there to connect with people that share that passion with you. Choosing yoga to be part of your life is a profound experience that can last a lifetime. It's a skill that you develop, like playing the piano. You can take it with you anywhere. And how about this? It's an opportunity to take a time out. You can always say, you know what? I'm going to yoga, or I'm going to practice with myself, and take a little time and just work on that part of you. So when you come back to whatever it is that you stepped away from, you might have better tools at dealing with whatever's coming your way. The time when you practice starts where your mind is busy with everything that's happening around you. Are you moving correctly? What are other people doing? But once you become confident and experienced with that, your mind starts going internally and reflecting and thinking about things. And this is where a good teacher is also going to guide you into a better direction to make sure that you stay away from maybe patterns of thought or behavior that you don't necessarily want to encourage, and to lead you towards the ability to reflect on yourself without judgment. Some people call that meditation. Whatever the reason is for you, I have never met anyone who regretted picking up yoga. I've seen people start to practice and over the years become world champions. I've also seen a lot of people come into the practice and leave after a while and maybe come back. But whatever the reason is and whatever that path means to you, I encourage you to consistently explore it. It's something that's always there for you. With me, with other teachers, I do some live classes. So many other teachers do live classes as well online these days, especially very easy to find online classes on YouTube. And if you connect with someone, then maybe you want to commit to that for a while and see where that leads you. And if you change over time and you need something else, you can always shift and choose a different path for yourself. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you like this channel, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That's going to remind you when new videos come out. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And otherwise, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Bye.